With the recent improvements to the Tesla Model Y, and of course the growing list of tax incentives from a state and federal perspective, lots of Tesla Model Y owners are expecting delivery of their vehicles pretty soon. Having just gone through this process myself a few months ago, I figured this would be a great time to share with you some of the steps and some of the missteps that I took along the way and what to expect when you're expecting. After you make your deposit, they're going to quote you a time frame for delivery. Mine was 5 to 7 weeks. I've seen others 3 to 5 weeks, 8 to 10 weeks. It's a rough time frame so you can get everything you need to get done to fulfill the really important part of this process, which is filling out those delivery details. And those details are delivery location, payment method, registration, and trade-in information. You're going to want to have all those figured out before delivery. And of course, this probably makes sense, but after you place your order, the sooner you get this stuff nailed down and in the system, the sooner you're going to get a VIN. So one of the bigger things on the list as you're completing some of your delivery details is to figure out your method of payment. If that's going to be a loan or a lease, or if you're going to pay up front in cash. One thing to keep in mind is that you can still get a VIN without a loan, so don't feel like you're pressured to get that done as soon as possible. But it's really a good idea to use this time to shop around for a good loan. And don't be afraid to ask Tesla, if you go that route, to provide you another option if you feel like what they gave you wasn't great. Another thing to really start thinking about once you've placed your order, or even prior to placing your order, is your charging setup at home. That is super important because this is going to be your livelihood with your EV, is figuring out how are you going to charge at home. But I would suggest that you get this straightened out as fast as you can, because you don't know if when you place your order, if you may get a delivery quote of 5 to 7 weeks, but it could turn around in a week theoretically. And while we're talking about charging, there's 3 main options for charging. There's of course your 110 volt that everyone has just to plug in the wall. That's going to give you the slowest charging speed. You also have an option of something called a 14-50. It's a NEMA 14-50. This is a bit of a faster charge of around 29 miles gained per hour. And then you have another option of a Tesla wall connector, which is the fastest way to go. And this will give you around 44 miles gained per hour. They, of course, all have their own individual costs. One may not be for somebody else, but there's ups and downs of each. For example, I wanted to have something that I could put outside because I only have a 1-car garage. I found that the Tesla wall connector was a really good option for that to put outside because it is weatherproof and it has been through snow and rain, blowing winds, everything, freezing temperatures, and it's been just fine. It's been awesome. So I can definitely recommend that for a setup where you want to have it out in a weatherproof situation. Once you've gotten to the point where you get a VIN, so you'll get an email from your sales advisor. They will tell you your VIN. It'll also pop up on your account, and they're going to start confirming delivery details too at this point, because this is when things start moving. Once you have a VIN, it means that it's gone through a certain part of the manufacturing process. And another interesting point of information you can get at this point is understanding the manufacturing date. And this is, I would argue, more important than the VIN, because you can know exactly what day your vehicle was manufactured. All right, so now that you've got your license, trade-in, payment information, insurance information, those main 4 things set and ready to go, Tesla is going to be ready to give you a delivery date. This day is a day you're going to go pick up your Tesla, or they're going to deliver it to you depending on how you have it arranged with them. But this is the day that you're going to need to be available. Once your vehicle is ready to be picked up, your sales advisor is going to give you a call, or they are going to email you, or they'll let you know through the app itself that your vehicle is ready. You get 3 days to pick up that car. You get 3 days. That's it. If you miss those 3 days, then it's going to be put back. The car is going to be put back into the rotation, and odds are you're not going to be able to pick that one up, and you're going to have to wait for another one. So it's super important that you do pick it up during that time. And so delivery day is here. This is your leverage day, I call it. This is the time you have to go in there with your list, and there's a great list that I'll link below. Really nice checklist that I used. It's a bit exhaustive, but it's really good if you want to make sure that you catch every possible item that could potentially have an issue. And you want to make sure you do that during this time. Even if you feel like a stickler, if you make yourself feel crazy doing it, just do it. You'll thank yourself later. This is the time when you can say something about scratches, dings, dirties. What's dirties? Dirty spots, dents, paint problems, windshield wiper problems, window issues, lots of things. So this is the time to have leverage. You can also decide to refuse delivery. If you feel like there's too many problems, you don't want to accept it, you have every right to do that. But this is your time, if you like the vehicle, to make sure you point out problems with it if there are any. In my case, I had a few issues. They were relatively minor, but there was some trim that had some white scuffing on it that wouldn't just wipe off. They had to bring it back into the shop and actually replace the trim pieces, which was no problem after that. And that was really the extent of my problems. So it varies between deliveries, but just make sure you've got an eagle eye on these vehicles because they are being produced really fast right now. Although they've done a much better job on QA in the recent months, there are still reports of some deliveries that just you're presented with a vehicle and you're like, well, you actually want me to buy this thing and take it home? So if you have any questions for me, feel free to leave it in the comments below. I'll be sure to check them out and I'm happy to give you my opinion on anything. But most importantly, congratulations to you and I hope this helped you understand the process a little bit more. We'll see you next time.